on my board, on my desk. There's a
Okay,
box.
thank you.
Right in front of you.
Here.
Underneath that, sorry.
Okay. Alright. Who can read this? What's this? .com. When you get there, you see some stuff there. But I'm going to use these initials to say some things to you, and I'm sure you won't forget in a hurry. The other day, I was with the other classes. I told you before we were on the trip. But I think I saw that face. Did I see your face?
Yeah.
So I have a good memory, don't I? Life is full of deception. What a way to start. Life is full of deceit. And if deceit is made public, then it won't be deceit. There are things that are hidden. They are like hidden charges. Okay, you are told to pick that you should walk into the restaurant and eat free. Somebody somewhere is paying for what you are eating free. Or somewhere, somehow, you will be asked to pay for it. Did I say something about a restaurant in my country? Okay, but you heard the last time I was here. You did?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a restaurant in my country. I don't want to publicize them, so I won't tell you the name. But in that restaurant, when you walk in, beautiful place, fantastic traditional dishes. The way they give you a treat is you ask for whatsoever you want. You place an order, give you a menu, you go through it, and then you order for the kind of meal you like. Could be afang soup, which is from my own place, or vegetable, or whatever kind of food you would like to eat, and they will serve you. And you will order for your drink, they will serve you happily, and you know they're giving you all the attention, and from time to time somebody comes around to ask you, are you okay? Are you enjoying the meal? Is there any other thing we can do for you? And notice that you don't pay, but it's after you eat that you do what? You pay. That is not life. That's a way of making you feel good, so you can spend some money. The more money you spend, the more they are calling you boss. How are you, sir? So are you alright? They don't really mean it. Do you observe that most times people ask you, are you alright? If you tell them, oh, yesterday I had this bad dream, and before you know it, they will tell you, you're giving me too much information. I was just greeting. So most times that people say things to you, they don't mean it. Are you getting me?
Yes.
Am I speaking mysteries? I'm speaking mysteries to you. Don't worry, we're getting somewhere. Just hang on there. So life is not like that restaurant in my country. Life demands that before you harvest from your farm, you first and foremost do what? You plant. Life demands that before you receive, you give. Life operates like the computer. A brand new computer comes with the ability to help you. But as much as that computer will carry your name, might carry Ntefon.com as the owner, but it doesn't do everything you want it to do. It gives back to you what you put into it. That's how life is. You came into this world with equal opportunity, quote and unquote. Because some people will say, but what about those who are born and they are sick from birth? But if you are sound, then you have as much opportunity, as much right as Barack Obama. That makes sense to you, doesn't it? Alright, so that's life. And the other thing you have to note about life, which you should fail to understand, is I love all my children. One of them is, if she comes early, she's going to be here. She was supposed to do the recording, but she might delay for some things she had to do. But that's the point. I love them so much, but I don't eat for them. When they are hungry, I don't eat for them. They eat to their satisfaction. That's life. When they need exercise, I don't do press-ups for them. That's life. How many of you know Essay? I love Essay so much. She writes me fantastic poems, tells me of how I'm such a wonderful dad, but I don't eat for Essay. I can't read, and Essay will understand. You're getting where I'm going now. So, as much as your parents love you so much, they cannot read for you. They will never, you are having the last time to live with them, they will never leave for you. Give yourself the next 5 years and begin to think, where will I be in the next 5 years? I keep reminding my children, I also was at your age some time ago. And I lived with my parents. Even though I lost my father early, and then grew up with my mother, fantastic woman. She passed away some years ago. I think about 15 years now. But she did her best to meet my emotional needs, meet as much physical needs as she could, but she couldn't be my father. She could only be my mother. That's life. Is it making sense? It may not make sense to some of you because you don't know what it means to stay without a father. So, you need to understand these things. That for you to make progress, it is you that will make it happen. If it will be for you, you have to make it happen. Life is like computer. Whatever you program into it, when you punch it, it doesn't say, okay, you wish to have something else, okay, I offer that to you. No, it doesn't respond to wishes. It responds to your programming, your formatting, your programming, your scripting. That's how life is. Sometimes accidents happen, but even the accidents are caused. People cause accidents. So that's why whenever you switch on your heater, make sure you turn it off except it is automatic. And if you didn't buy the automatic that will switch off itself, don't wish for it to be operating like automatic because it will not operate like that. That's not how life is. Are you getting me? Are you getting me? So if you are going to have the best results in your class, it's not coming by wishes. What have you been feeding into your mind? Have you been reading? Have you been been studying? Have you been revising? Have you been doing your homework? If you use the time for your homework to watch television all through when you are home, guess what? You will know so much happening in the television, but you will not remember what you're supposed to know. True or false? True or false? Okay, let's bring it down. How many hours are you supposed to watch television in a day? How many hours are you supposed to watch television in a day? Yeah. Hello? 3 hours. That's a lot. Okay. 5 in a day. Okay. 2. Okay. 12 hours in a day to watch television. I'm not asking how many hours do you have in a day. Yes. About half an hour, 1 hour. 2 hours. Okay, now listen. Listen. How many hours do we have in a day? How many hours do you put into sleeping?
8.
Okay, so how many hours do you have left?
16.
You sleep for how many hours?
8.
Huh?
8.
Okay, let's assume it is between 7, 8, 8 hours. Huh? Are we here? Okay. How much time do you put into eating? Is it 3 minutes or 3 hours? 20 minutes. Yeah, sure. Don't sit down playing with your meal. Half an hour. You're sure? Oh, wait. I have somebody in mind. Not only one person. They will sit down, analyze the food, pick them, and you ask how many minutes are you supposed to put into it? Okay, let's assume it is 30 minutes. That's okay. Now you come to school. How many hours do you spend at school? 6 hours. Okay. Now what we didn't do is we didn't divide. How many hours make up night? When do we start saying it's morning?
12.
Okay, according to the time, it's supposed to be from 12 midnight. It's morning. But we start saying it's morning from 6, isn't it? Yeah? Okay, but for some people, they wake up much earlier. But let's take 6. Let's take that from 6 to 9. 6 in the morning till 9 in the evening is when you are still active before you go to bed. When do you go to bed? No, when do you go to bed? When do you sleep in the night? What time? You stay till 10. Okay, I want you to have value for this time. Listen. There's only one man that is speaking in this class at the moment, and that is Mr. Ntefon. Is that okay? Alright, so if you have from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. How many hours do we have there? From 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. is how many hours? So in reality, we are not looking at 24 hours, we are looking at 16 hours. How you use these 16 hours every day will determine whether you will be a poor person or rich. That's my story. I quickly tell you a story. Do you know about the first ever millionaire in America? You like to know? You like to know? Okay. Let me tell you the story before I mention his name. The man in question was very rough. At the time, he was so rough that even his friends or colleagues at work, in fact, he hardly had friends then. Colleagues at work were complaining about how rough he was. I mean, he would offend so many people, upset them, did so many bad things to them. Until one day he stumbled on a fact. And that fact is that everybody he observed that was living an outstanding life, that was very wealthy and outstanding, had certain characters. In fact, he saw it in a book, a list of characters that if you have these, you cannot but become very wealthy and influential. So he had a list of them. Every day, from that day he made up his mind, he said, I want to be like this. So initially he had a very bad attitude, very high temper, violent man. And then he now said, okay, I'm going to work on myself. I want to be a very patient person with others. I want to treat others with respect. It wasn't an easy task for him, but he will pick one character and say, for today I'm going to take on this character. So he will say, I'm going to become temperance. Some words I may not be able to define, but you need to visit the dictionary. I'm going to become very humble. Let me use that one. I'm going to become humble, so he will write it on a piece of paper and carry it about. That whole day, every time he will bring it out and look at it and say, I'm going to be very humble. It wasn't easy for him. So he did that every day with all the characters that he wanted to have until he exhausted them, and then he came back to being humble and picked it up and said, okay, I did it for one day, I'm going to now do it for a week. I will make sure for 1 week I'm going to remind myself that I have to be humble. By the way, do you know that all of us, we speak to ourselves? You don't talk to yourself? That before you even said it, that's what you did. You first said to yourself, I don't speak to myself before you said it out. Everybody, when you're alone, you are speaking to yourself. And most times we speak to ourselves about ourselves. You speak to yourself, they corrected me, that means I'm no good. If I fail that mathematics, it means I'm not as good as those who pass. That's not what to say to yourself. What you say to yourself is something that will enable you to conquer that thing. And what you said to yourself is, I didn't quite understand that mathematics. I'm going to understand it next time. I'm going to get it. It got me this time, I'm going to get it the next time. That's how to think. When you fail an exam or a test, it's not because you're not good, it's that you didn't understand. There are two different things. The person that said, oh, I failed because I'm not good, is going to keep running down himself or herself. The person that said, I didn't understand it, that's why I failed it, is going to boost himself. Make sure that you lift yourself up. So you are either talking down yourself or you are speaking of yourself. Alright, so let's go back to the first ever millionaire in America. So he did that for 1 week, the character, and then after that he extended it and did it for 1 month, the character. He will pick, for example again, being humble, and said, the whole of this month, I'm going to devote myself to make sure that I am humble. Do you think that it was difficult for him?
Yes.
Must have been. Those who make it to the top, champions, don't give up on themselves. Have you ever heard when it is said, winners don't quit and quitters don't win? Have you ever heard it? So if you want to be a champion in life, you don't give up. Except it is something that is going to put you down. You give up on things that are wrong, but you don't give up on things that are right. Is that clear? Is that clear? If others can, you can. I said it the other time, I think I said this. It has nothing to do with the color of your skin. It has something to do with the amount of hope that you have. And every time somebody has hope, you begin to become creative. You begin to live your life with excitement. You look forward to a better tomorrow. You don't conclude that it's all ended. If you have hope, it means that you are going to do some very creative things. You are going to open up to learn. You are going to believe in yourself. You are going to believe in the power that is stronger than yours to take you into the future. You will always look forward to a better tomorrow. Yesterday is not meant for residence. Yesterday is meant for reference. Should I say that again? You only refer to yesterday. You don't reside in yesterday. Do you live in yesterday? Do you observe that in a car, the windscreen, or some people call it windshield, is bigger than the rear mirror? Why? Why? The mirror that shows you what is coming from behind is about 20 times or more less or smaller than the windscreen. True or false? Why is that? Because you should be referring to what's coming from behind. But you do what? Look at the front. Look forward. If you want to make progress, you don't live in yesterday. So if yesterday was bad for me, I should be a bad person today. Huh? If I lost my father because I lost my father when I was 8 years old, I should come and stand here and be crying. No, I should tell you that I conquered that. You can conquer your challenges. You can. Alright? So you look forward. So that's how Benjamin Franklin became the first ever millionaire in America. He worked on himself, not on his job. He first and foremost worked on himself. If you learn the art of treating yourself well, having the right kind of character. I mean, imagine if I walked into this class and then I won't even greet Mr. Cooksey or even respond to his greeting. What do you think will happen? I'll create a bad feeling. Do you realize that when you walk into the bank, they treat you with respect because they are using your money to do business? You didn't know about that. They use your money to do business and give you a peanut out of your money. If you put £1,000, they give you at most £5. What is £5 to £1,000? That doesn't make any sense to me. So that's the last thing you do with money. But the idea of banking came from Benjamin Franklin. So he started getting into creative thinking. He started thinking of what can I do most that will benefit most people. That is one way to become great. Do you think I will be a small man forever? I can't be. It's not possible. I lost that time. I lost the opportunity. The opportunity to be a poor man and remain small. I lost it. I lost it from the day I realized that my father didn't do that, my mother didn't do that for me, but I can get it. I lost that opportunity. I lost it when I connected myself and say, there's a power that is stronger than me. And I connect to that power and I stay connected. I lost that opportunity. I lost it when I refused to be hopeless, but live with hope, full of excitement. I learned to live my life at 10 over 10. That's how you should do. Live your life at 10 over 10. Don't live your life at 5.5 over 10. You are living as if you have no hope. Wake up every day and tell yourself, today has a lot of things for me, but I also have a lot of things to give to today. Does that make sense? How many of you learned from that story from Benjamin Franklin? What do you learn from it? Yeah. Sir? You must give to receive. Fantastic. Yeah, who else? You have so much to say, but I refuse to say it. Yes. Somebody lifted hand. What did you learn from that?
You shouldn't give up on what you're doing.
You don't give up on the good things, not just what you believe, on the right things that you believe in. Don't give. But when it is something that is running you down, for example, don't be snobbish and think that people would like to do business with you. No. And don't be ignorant. People say, what you don't know can't hurt you. If you put your finger into the naked electrical cable, what will happen? Will it say you didn't know? Some things you don't know can kill. Alright? Yeah? Yeah? Alright. When you have an agreement with yourself, don't break it. My agreement with myself is that I'm going to become, in the next 5 years, I'm going to become a nationally influential public speaker in the UK. That's my agreement with myself. I want to personally stand before children like this, from primary school to high school to the university, and speak to 1 million. So what I've done is I've started keeping the records of the number of pupils I'm speaking to. Is that possible? It's possible. It's possible. But is it going to be easy? No. Alright, I round up with this. I thought I was going to be able, but you can visit here or tell your parents about this. I'm sure they will gain a lot from that. I tell you the story of Mr. Dunga. Can you mention the name? Mr. Dunga. That's an African name, by the way. Mr. Dunga worked for a construction company for 30 years. How many years? 30 years. So he felt, I've put in a lot of my life into this, I need to retire. So he walked to the boss and said, please, I want to retire. I want to do something else with my life. Can you send me off? Oh, they started regretting because he was a very passionate and very valuable worker. They valued him so much. So for the first time, they now had an agreement and said, okay, let's call him. So the boss called. So he responded, yes, Nuga here. He said, Nuga, can you meet with me in the office tomorrow? I said, okay. All right, boss, I'll be with you. So he went. And the boss said, I have two news. One is a bad news, one is a good news. And Munga said, give me the bad one first. He said, the bad news is we won't let you go. We can't let you go now. The good news is that we have a job we've never done before, and we want you to lay the foundation. Lay the foundation so that we can put up a structure. You just lay the foundation before you go. Why did they ask him to lay the foundation? They trusted in him. He was such an outstanding foreman in the construction company. So finally, he took up the job, and a man who loved working, but you see, he lost something along the way. Because his heart had left, he lost passion. The excitement he had on the job, he lost it. But he decided to build it, not only at the foundation, mobilize forces, and they put up the walls, and put up the roof, and painted it. But he did not pay attention to the critical things that will make that house solid and outstanding as he always does. So he went with the boss, said, do you have the key to the house? Yes. And he said, it's in my pocket. He said, okay, now I have an appointment. Now this is what to do. I take a look at it from outside. And the boss liked it from outside. Said, this is what the company has decided to do. This building belongs to you. Instead of rejoicing, he started crying. And of course, if it were you, you would cry. Guess what? He said, I didn't build this house without God. I did a very shoddy job inside. I was careless with some things. I mean, I didn't fit the fittings properly. So I'll own it. What would have made him excited? What would have been as a reward for him the rest of his life, and himself and his family, he was living in regret. What does that tell us? This is the conclusion. Every time you come to school, you're laying the foundation of your life. You won't forget this story. Every time you are given an assignment, you're building your life. You're building the house you will live in. Every time you take part in classwork, you're building your life. So I want to ask you, whenever you remember Robert Ntefon, remember that I have said to you that your life is your challenge. It's the greatest thing you have. Live it with passion. Don't live as if it's a rehearsal, because your life is no rehearsal. This is the professional football you're playing. Thank you. Is there anybody that has a question before I take my leave? Any question? Yes.
What's your website?
My website? A lot of things you need to visit. And fantastic things. But I'd like you to tell your parents about it.
I'm sorry, we need to break from Asma. Thank you very much for giving your inspiring speech yet again. And hopefully, a lot of things to remember there. I'm afraid, could we break with maths now?